Hi, my name's Kate. Thank you so much for joining me today. We will be addressing one of the most common things that I hear people come to yoga for, low back pain. And I recently saw a meme that said, adulting is all about being broke and having my low back be in pain. And I just don't think that that's a reality that everybody should have to live with. One of the things that I don't think many teachers or people recognize when low back pain comes up in their body or in their classes is that it's not really about the low back. A lot of the times our low back will be stressed because our chest is very tight, our hips are very tight, our hamstrings are very tight, and all of that compression through the top and the bottom stacks into the center of our body. And so that's really what takes a lot of the pain to our low back. And in response, our low back is actually trying to alleviate some of that pain. So today you're gonna need two props. A blanket, and this could be a bath towel or a blanket that you have at home, and a strap. Some people also like to use a small towel or something that's just like a scarf laying around your house. It doesn't have to be specific yoga props. Come to a nice comfortable seat and close your eyes for a moment, breathing into your diaphragm and spread across your ribs and the back of your body. Take a deep full breath in and a breath out. Inhale and exhale. Now on this third one, we'll bring our hands to our center on our inhale. And exhale, gently bow your head to your heart, a symbol of reverence for our brain to our body and our body to ourself. Take a deep full breath in and a breath out. Gently blink your eyes open. Your breath is the most important part of your yoga practice. So keep the breath moving throughout this practice. We'll begin with the blanket. So the bath towel or whatever you have, we're all working with slightly different measurements. We're going to take our blanket, unroll it just a bit, and we want to roll it up. The tighter you go with this blanket, the deeper you're gonna go through the stretch. The looser the blanket is, or you could even simply fold your blanket a couple of times, especially if you notice that a tighter roll is too much for your opening today. Now, once we have our blanket all situated, we want to put our blanket directly behind our shoulder blades. Now, you can see my shoulder blades start to move here in the top of my back. I want to place my shoulder blades directly onto the blanket so that way all of the opening goes across the center of my chest, my pecs, and even up into my collarbones. You can have your legs however is comfortable as you lay down. I invite you to take Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together and knees wide and open. Again, if this is uncomfortable for you in any way, take something that's gonna be sustainable for you to stay in for a couple of minutes. Maybe legs straight out in front of you like Shavasana, or if it's very uncomfortable for your low back, you're experiencing quite a bit of pain, I would suggest that you bend your knees, walk your feet wide, and then drop your knees together in the center. As I place my shoulder blades onto the blanket, I'm gonna wiggle myself down so that way they're truly in the right spot, and then our head will lay down onto the floor. Bring your arms out at 90-degree angles in your elbows so that way your forearms are parallel to your mat edges. Sit your hips down onto the ground or as close down onto the ground as you can. Again, if this is a place where your hips do not comfortably lay down onto the floor, I would suggest loosening the roll of your blanket a bit. And now take a deep full breath in and a breath out. And you might notice right here that your breath fills across your bottom ribs and really expands across the center of your torso. Now, when you breathe on your next inhale, try to send this breath a little bit lower into your lower ribs and even into your belly. Notice if that changes anything in the opening of your hips and your low back here. And now that your hips are rooted down onto your mat or the floor, you start to send your awareness a little bit further up toward your chest. Have you started any tightening across your shoulders when you started to open? Can you send your breath up across the tops of your shoulders, the tops of your collarbones to open and broaden? Inhale. And exhale. Pause here for just a few more moments and notice a subtle opening and relaxation that happens with time. Some poses we have to stay in for a little bit longer to really experience the true essence of the pose and for our body to melt away some of the layers that it's created. One more full breath in and a breath out. Now, if they're not already, you're going to plant your feet down onto your mat. Roll off to one side of your body, so rolling all the way off of your blanket or towel. Land onto your hands and push yourself up off of your blanket. Already you might be feeling a little bit more opening across your chest and the front of your body. That should feel pretty nice for your low back already. Now come into a seated position on your shins. Again, sometimes this is uncomfortable for our knees, and if that is the case today, you can unroll your blanket or towel. You can sit down onto your blanket or towel to give a little bit of more cushioning underneath, or you can also place your blanket between your calves and your hamstrings. So I'll show you here. I'm gonna sit up just a little bit. My shins are down, the tops of my feet are down. And now I can send the blanket into the backs of my knees, and that creates a little bit more cushioning. Sit tall, so that way your chest stays open, and interlace your hands behind your low back. Squeeze the heels of your hands together as much as you can, and you might notice that that opens your shoulders more, external rotation in your upper arm bones. Now send your knuckles away from you, lift your chest up to the ceiling, and gently tilt your head back up. Don't forget to breathe here. Inhale. And exhale. Keep your hands clasped. Inhale, just come back to neutral. And exhale, wrap your shoulders again. Inhale, lift tall through the crown of your head. And exhale, start to send your knuckles back and away from your heels. Inhale here. And exhale here. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, soften your position for a moment. One more round there. Inhale, lift tall. Wrap your shoulders open and squeeze the heels of your hands. Exhale, start to bend back and up. First, we want to lift up and then back. Send your knuckles away from your heels. One breath in here. Stay for your breath out. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, unwind your hands and walk your arms forward in front of you, coming into child's pose. As much as you can, try to keep your hips back toward your heels. If they come up a little bit, totally fine. Work with where you're at today. Soften your third eye down onto your mat, the center of your forehead. And relax your belly onto your thighs. Full breath in, breathe across the back of your body. Exhale, draw your navel in and soften your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in here. Inhale, fill up across your back body. Exhale, soften everything down into your mat. Inhale, slowly walk your hands back up underneath you. And now we'll take our blanket or our towel, and you want to fold it just so that way it makes a small pillow for your head. You're going to place your blanket at the top of your mat, and we're going to lay our head down with our back and our feet toward the bottom of the mat. This is where having your strap nearby is going to be very handy. Again, you can also use a small hand towel or a scarf or something that you have around you. As you lay down, make sure that the edge of the blanket lines up with the edge of where your skull meets your neck. And this will be a very comfortable releasing spot for your cervical spine. Plant both feet down onto your mat and press down into your feet. Lift your hips just enough to lift, or press down into your feet and lift your hips just enough to hover above the floor. Now tilt your sit bones up toward your knees, and then you'll feel a lengthening across your low back here. Start to set your low back down onto the ground. Bring your right knee in toward your chest and give yourself a nice tight squeeze here. Notice if as you reached up toward your knee, you started to round into your chest. Soften your shoulders, open across your collarbones, and keep the backs of your shoulders down onto your mat. Now you'll take your strap, and we want to place the center of the strap on the ball mound of your right foot. Extend your right leg up to the ceiling, and this is where the strap comes in hand. If it's hard for you to reach up to your foot, or you notice again that your chest starts to round toward your foot, go ahead and soften your shoulders back down, soften your collarbones, and use the strap as an extension of your arm. Now, if you're fairly comfortable here, you can extend your left leg. And if you notice that as you extended your left leg that got way too intense for your right leg, go ahead and bend your left knee again, so that way you have some sort of ease within your effort. Take a deep breath in here, and a breath out. Send your sit bone underneath your seat toward your heel. This will help lengthen your hamstring and across your low back and glute underneath you. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in. And a breath out. Now, take your strap into your right hand if it's not already, and you're gonna extend your right arm over to the right. This is where if you have a small hand towel, you may not go too far, and that's okay. If you have a scarf or a strap, something longer, you can send your hand as far over to the right as is accessible. Start to drop your right foot over to the left, but don't go too far just yet. We're not taking this into a twist. Keep your right hip down onto the floor. If you notice that your right leg, your right hip starts to lift up as you drop your right foot, set your right hip back down, and then drop your right foot into your strap so that way your strap is holding your foot there. Now bring your strap a little bit closer toward you. I can walk my hand up my strap, get a little bit closer. And you'll feel a stretch along the outside of your right leg. If you're pretty comfortable here, keep bringing your foot towards you. You'll deepen that stretch. If you're uncomfortable here, lessen the amount of distance that your right foot goes over to the left. Maybe you start about center of your body here. When you're feeling more comfortable, you're gonna bring your right foot directly in line with your left shoulder. Inhale. And exhale. And now what this stretch is doing here is going along our IT band along the outside of our right leg. And our IT band is really just a tendon that runs along the outside of our leg, but along it is these muscles that attach to the tendon and then attach it back to our hip. And so these muscles will get really tight, they'll get really sore, especially if you do a lot of sitting, or bike riding is very common with IT band tightness, running. And so our hips will get tight, and our IT band, what it does to help stretch here is to open up our outer hips. Stay for your breath in, and stay for your breath out. Now bring your right leg back to center, and you're gonna keep your right leg there, but let go of your strap. Reach your arms up toward your toes, and now start to lift your shoulder blades up off of the ground, containing your belly. Draw your navel down and in, creating contraction into your abdominal muscles. Reach up toward your toes, hold here, and pulse for 10, 9, 8, using your core, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Grab your strap, take it off of your right foot, place it over to the left side of your body, and hug your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze there. Rock your right knee side to side a couple of times, loosening up into your hip socket. And then drop your right knee all the way over to the left side of your mat. This time your right hip can prop up onto your left, and then open up your right arm, open up the right side of your chest. If you're feeling comfortable here, bend your right elbow to a 90-degree angle, cactus arm, and open up your right arm and place your right elbow down onto the ground. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in here. And one more breath out. Bring yourself back through to center. Hug your right knee into your chest, and then place your right foot down onto the floor. Hug your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze. And now extend your left leg up to the ceiling. Grab hold of your strap, your towel, your scarf, whatever you're using today. Place your strap around the ball mound of your left foot. Notice again, if your shoulder blades come up whenever you reach up, set your shoulder blades back down and broaden across your collarbones. If you're comfortable here, extend your right leg. If you realize you made a big mistake, bend your right knee. Take a deep, full breath in. And a breath out. Really, in different yoga postures throughout different flows, we're trying to find what works best for our individual bodies. So what works best for my body may look very different on yours, and what actually looks best for your body may look different over time. You could come back to this same exact flow in a few months, and it'll feel completely different. You'll experience it in a very different way. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in here. And one more breath out. Take your strap into your left hand. Extend your left arm out, and then drop your left foot over to the right just enough to feel the stretch along your outer left hip. Again, if you're not quite feeling that stretch, pull your left foot towards you. If you're feeling too much, bring your left foot a little bit more towards center, not quite all the way over to the right shoulder. Inhale. And exhale. Sometimes it also feels good to use your right hand across to your left hip and press your left hip down to the ground. If you notice that your left hip is starting to hike up, make sure that your left hip stays down. That's the most important part of this stretch. It's really how you target the muscles around your IT band and your outer hip. Inhale. And exhale. Let's stay for a few more breaths here. Really reminding you to send your sit bone up towards your heel, lengthen across your low back. If your mind starts to wander elsewhere, bring your mind back to your breath and back to your body. One more breath in. And one more breath out. Bring your left leg back to center. Let go of your strap. Reach your fingers up toward your toes and lift your shoulder blades up off of the ground. Draw your navel in. Contain your abdominal muscles. Wrap them together and reach your fingers up. Hold here and pulse for 10, 9, 8. Reach higher. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab your strap, let it go. Hug your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice tight squeeze and a little rock side to side. And then drop your left leg all the way over to the right. Open up your left arm. Place your left shoulder back down onto your mat or in that direction. And if you want to, if you did so on the other side, bend your left elbow 90 degrees, cactus arm. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Deep, full breath in. One more. Exhale. Soften everything as if you're just melting into your mat. Bring your left knee back into center. Place your left foot down onto the floor. Bend your right knee, place your right foot down onto the floor. And drop both of your knees over to the left. As you lean onto your hands, give yourself a nice push up with your hands and come to a comfortable seat. We'll use our blanket as a little extra prop for our seat now. With a little bit more height underneath your hips can feel more open and released. You might also feel a little bit more grounded into your seat as well. We'll come into Sukhasana, easy seated pose. Sukha literally meaning ease, the sweetness. Let your palms face up. Once again, a receiving gesture. We allow our body to receive what it needs. We can also ask for what we need in that gesture. Take a deep, full breath in. Expand across your ribs into your chest. Open your mouth. Exhale. Let it all go. Inhale. Exhale, open your mouth. Exhale, let it go. Inhale. And now this time, exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Let your head fall down to the floor. Relax the back of your neck. Gently roll your right ear to your right shoulder, very gently, stretching along the back side of the left side of your neck. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your chin back through to center. And then drop your chin, or bring your chin over to the left and stretch the right side. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your chin back through to center. Bring your hands towards center. Keep your head bowed down to your heart. And take a deep, full breath in. And a breath out. With a deep and gracious heart from mine to yours, I say Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be free and happy. Namaste.